Hi, once again welcome back to Obstetrics and Gynecology videos. Today we are going to see about anesthesia and analgesia in labor. First let us see the physiology of pain. The stimulation of nociceptors of the various body parts leads to the secretion of certain mediators, and these mediators will stimulate the delta fibers, and these delta fibers stimulation will be carried out through the dorsal horn of the spinal cord, and it also leads to the release of somatostatin, cholecystokinin and substance P, and these things will carry this impulse to the brain cortex, and this is the way we are perceiving the pain. So this image shows the pain perception. So from the noxious stimulus it is coming to the spinal cord, and from the spinal cord it is getting carried to the brain, and from the brain you will be getting the reflex arch or reflex action. Somatosensory functioning or perception of pain during the labor process. During the descent of the baby, stretching of the muscles and ligaments of the pelvic cavity will occur, and pressure from the descending fetus also will be there. And this stimulates the afferent neuron, and these pain fibers from the skin and from the viscera will run through the spinal cord, and pain from the uterus will be felt in the back and in the region of the labia. The neuropeptides which are associated with the transmission of pain includes endorphins and enkephalins. The endorphins are present in the limbic system, thalamus, hypothalamus and reticular formation, and it inhibits the release of substance P also. These enkephalins inhibit neurotransmitters in the pain pathway. And physiological responses to the pain in labor. During the labor process, due to the pain, respiratory rate will be increasing, and that leads to the decreased partial pressure of carbon dioxide. And the cardiac output in the first and second stage also will be increasing due to the pain. And when you are considering about the analgesics or anesthetics in labor, we should consider the following factors. That is, first one, it should be capable of relieving the pain, and second thing, it should relax the woman, and third thing, it should not have systemic effect. That is, it should not affect the uterine contractions, and it should not affect the pushing efforts of the mother, and at the same time it should not affect the fetus also. So always go for such things which are having less systemic effects on the baby and on the mother. When you're giving drugs for anesthetic effect or for the analgesic effect, that may cross the placenta and it may go to the baby, and it may affect even the baby also. This crossing through the placenta depends on the characteristics of the drug. So first one, it depends on the molecular weight of the medicine or drug which we are using. If the molecular weight is more than 1000, the chance for crossing the placenta is less, so or otherwise it cross poorly. And if the molecular weight is less than 600, it will cross the placenta very easily. And if the drug is highly charged, it will cross the placenta slowly. And if it is protein bound, in that case also it will cross the placenta poorly. And if it is fat soluble, it will cross the placenta very easily. So when you are selecting the drugs, you should see the characteristics of the drug, and on the basis of that, with those drugs which are having less chance for crossing the placenta, you can select, so that it will be safe for the baby. And first we can see the systemic narcotic analgesics that we can use during the labor. In that, first one is meperidine hydrochloride, and second one is nalbuphine, third one is butophenol tartrate, the fourth one morphine sulfate, fifth one fentanyl, and sixth one pethidine. First, let us see the meperidine. The dose is 25 mg IV or 50 to 100 mg IM 4 hourly, and it acts as an analgesic, and it acts as an antispasmodic. It is having sedative effect, and it produces euphoria also. And these drugs, once if you have given, it will start to act within 30 minutes in the case of IM injection, and it will be acting within 5 minutes in the case of IV injection, IV infusion. And the duration of action is, its action lasts for 2 to 3 hours. And the main problem is, it will slow down the labor contractions, or the contractions of the uterus it will be reducing, because it is having an antispasmodic effect. and you can give it just 3 hours before the birth. So in that case, even if the contractions are getting little slow, delayed also, it may not affect the progress of labor very badly, and it will reduce the beat to beat variability in the fetal heart sound also. Next, the drug is nalbuphine. The dose is 10 to 20 milligram 6 hourly. So the dose will be 0.3 to 3 milligram per kilogram over 10 to 15 minutes. And effects on the mother, it slows the respiratory rate of the mother, and it's having a sedative effect, and it's having an analgesic effect also. And it may produce respiratory depression in the case of fetus. Next one is butorphanol. Dose is 1 to 2 milligram IM or IV. You can give it for 4 hourly, and it causes slowing of the labor, and it will produce fetal respiratory depression also. Another drug is morphine sulfate. The dose of morphine sulfate is 0.2 to 1 milligram intrathecally or 5 milligram epidurally, and it's having an analgesic effect, but it will produce pruritus, that is itching over the skin. This also will slow down or slows the labor contractions, and it is having some respiratory depression on the fetus. And next one is fentanyl. The dose is 50 to 100 microgram IM and 25 to 50 microgram if it is IV. And this causes maternal hypotension and respiratory depression, and this slows the process of labor, and it's having fetal respiratory depression also. And the next one is intrathecal narcotics. The drugs which we are using commonly include fentanyl or morphine, and these drugs will start to act within 15 to 30 minutes if you are giving intrathecally, and the pain relief will be, or its action will be lasting for 4 to 7 hours. But at the same time, the lady will be having the urge to push also, so that it will not affect the maternal efforts, or it will not produce sedation effect for the mother. But the side effects include, it will produce intense or severe pruritus, nausea and vomiting. And the antidote of this include this is the naloxone. Next is the non-opioid analgesics. Sedatives and tranquilizers are coming under this. Example, barbiturates, hydroxyl, benzodiazepines, and it can be used for sedation and for anxiolysis. If the mother is having excessive anxiety, you can use it, and it causes prolonged depressive effect on the fetus. That's the main problem of this non-opioid analgesics. Next one is inhalation analgesia. You can use 50% nitrous oxide and 50% of oxygen, that is Entonox. This mixture is stable at normal temperature, but it will be placed, these cylinders we are placing in horizontal position because nitrous oxide is heavier than the oxygen. So in order to make sure the mixture of these two gases, always we are keeping the cylinder in the horizontal position. And nitrous oxide limits the neuronal and synaptic transmissions within the central nervous system. By that way, it is preventing the pain transmission, and it can be administered by the Entonox apparatus. This Entonox will take 20 seconds to act, and maximum efficacy of this drug will come within 40 to 50 seconds, and so we can take it before the contraction. Next we can see the anesthesia in labor. First, let us see about the regional anesthesia. The injectables or the drugs bupivacaine, tetracaine, to block the specific nerves we are using. These are the drugs we are using for the blockage of specific nerves, and this act by blocking sodium and potassium transport, and on the newborn it will produce a flaccidity, bradycardia and hypotension, and the woman will be conscious, and it will not affect the uterine tone or pushing effect of the mother. Next is epidural anesthesia. This is the most common anesthesia we are using nowadays for the pain relief during the labor. The anesthetic agent is placed inside the epidural space. Usually the needle we will be inserting between L2, L3 or L3, L4 or L4, L5. In the space we can select for inserting the needle. And this will block the spinal and sympathetic nerves, and the pain relief for the labor and for the birth. Entire process of labor we can cover this epidural anesthesia, and the main problem, it will produce a hypotension and it may impede the fetal rotation due to the relaxation of the levator ani muscles. So that is, the lower pelvic floor muscles will get relaxed, so that may leads to the delay in the descent of the baby, and that may delay the labor process, but it will not affect the pushing effect of the mother. And for the main side effect, I have told you that it is hypotension. For preventing the hypotension, or for preventing that, you can use the fentanyl or bupivacaine with 500 to 1000 ml of extra fluid. So we can give extra fluid for the lady, that may reduce the hypertension, and we can make her to lie on the side. And the treatment of hypotension include, you can raise the foot end of the bed, you can administer oxygen, and you can give IV fluids, or you can give the ephedrine. And the technique of administration, you just make the person to lie on the side, and the back we are not flexing usually, and insert a 3 to 4 inch needle between L3 and L4 in the space, that's a common space we are using, and insert a polyethylene catheter into the L3 and L4 region, and you just tape it into place. And when you can inject small dose of anesthetic drugs through this catheter, and once if it is effective, if it is placed properly, the lady will feel flushing and warmness of the legs after 5 minutes. So if it is there for the lady, it indicates the correct placement of the catheter. And it produces the anesthesia up to the level of the umbilicus within 10 to 15 minutes, and the effect will be lasting for 40 minutes to 2 hours. And after that time, again you can give another dose of anesthetics, or you can continue the infusion. Otherwise, you can go for the patient controlled analgesia. Whenever the patient is feeling, you can give the injectable, or you can even give the controlling pump to the patient on the request of the patient, or she herself can control the infusion. And you have to see for the toxic reactions. The toxic reactions include slurred speech, lack of fine motor coordination. And after the insertion, after giving the drugs, you should make the patient to empty the bladder every 2 hours. And you have to monitor the blood pressure, and you have to check the sensation and movement of the leg after the delivery. And always before ambulating the mother, you should see for the effect of anesthesia, and you have to be with the woman when she is getting ambulated after the delivery. The agents we are using commonly include ropivacaine, bupivacaine, or levobupivacaine. Next is spinal anesthesia. In this case, we are inserting or injecting local anesthetic agent into the subarachnoid space, that is usually between L3 and L4. And here also the hypotension from the sympathetic blockage can occur. So immediately after giving this, turn the patient to the left side, and usually we are not giving Trendelenburg position during the labor process. And postpartum or dural puncture headache or spinal headache will be there. For preventing this, you can use small gauge needles that may reduce the postpartum headache, and you can give proper hydration, and you can make the mother to lie flat, and you can give analgesics if the mother is having postpartum headache or spinal headache. And spinal epidural technique is, epidural needle is inserted first and a catheter is placed and taped over there. The spinal needle is inserted into the CSF, and a small dose of narcotic is also can be added to the CSF, and the spinal needle is withdrawn before that. Next is local anesthesia or analgesia for the vaginal delivery. In that, first one is pudendal nerve block. Injection of an agent near to the left and right pudendal nerves at the level of ischial spine. Usually we are giving it at the level of ischial spine on the right and left side. That is, directly we are blocking the pudendal nerves. It provides pain relief 2 to 10 minutes and last for, that is within 2 to 10 minutes it will produce the pain relief, and this effect will be lasting for 1 hour. We can use it for the suture of episiotomy wound, and in case of low forceps operation also we can use it. Next is local infiltration. Inject lidocaine into the superficial nerves of the perineum. And with this we are using when the fetal head is too low for pudendal block. If the fetal head is too low, actually pudendal block is not needed. In that case, you can go for the local infiltration. And the effect of this lasts for 1 hour. Next is saddle block. It's a form of spinal anesthesia limited to the buttocks, perineum and the inner thigh. The injection of anesthetic drug into the S2 or to S5 space, and this will reduce the pain, and the person will be may not be able to move the leg for 1 to 2 hours. Next is general anesthesia. Usually during the labor process, we are not preferring that general anesthesia because the anesthetic effect will be there for the baby also. But in the case of emergencies like abruptio placenta, in such cases we can use it. So we are using thiopental sodium, nitrous oxide and oxygen mixture only we are using for the general anesthesia. And for the preparation of general anesthesia, we should arrange the following things. You should give ephedrine for the patient. You are giving atropine for reducing the secretions. Thiopental sodium you have to arrange. Succinylcholine you have to arrange. Isoproterenol should be arranged, and you have to give you have to arrange laryngoscope, ambu bag, 100% oxygen, suction source. Everything should be ready for the general anesthesia. But remember one thing, usually during the labor process we are not using the general anesthesia. Nowadays very common procedure that we are using for ensuring the analgesia during labor is epidural analgesics. So thank you for watching this video. See you once again with a new video.